Strategy versus tactics. How strategic thinking and tactical planning belong together. We think about all the great things we want to achieve without laying down a specific strategy to achieve them. Trying to reach a specific destination without clarity on what you need and why it's the right place for you can only take you so far. Effort spent in execution that does not originate from a specific strategy is keeping busy without clarity on what you're trying to accomplish. Similarly, a great strategy without a plan is just the intent without a means to generate the desired impact. It's thinking without action, direction without a path, and a desire to achieve goals without putting in the effort to achieve them. Strategic planning requires the right balance of thinking ahead while actioning in the now. It's the perfect amalgamation of what the future holds to what must be done now in the present to make that future possible. While strategy and tactics belong together in the planning process, they're very different in the value they provide. It's important to understand how the two correlates while providing a unique value to the planning process. Difference between strategy and tactics. What and how of strategic planning. Strategy defines what and why. Tactics defines how and when. Strategy is the intent. Tactics is putting intent to action. Strategy determines what needs to be done and why by questioning its effectiveness. Tactics determine how it must be done by focusing on the efficiency, cost, effort, and resources. Strategy involves intentional and focused high-level thinking that defines the direction to take. Tactics involve concrete actions and steps to implementation in line with the direction. Strategy is aligned with the goals, objectives, and the broad vision you want to achieve. Tactics are aligned with the strategy. Strategy requires focus on defining the future. Tactics require day-to-day execution directed towards a specific strategy. Strategy is difficult to change, though entirely possible. Tactics are very easy to change, offering a lot of flexibility in determining the steps to make strategy successful. Strategy needs outward, external-looking perspective into competition and market conditions. Tactics needs an inward view that can be executed within the resources of the organization. Strategy is typically formed by leaders within the organization. Tactics are typically defined and executed by managers. In strategy, primary focus is on effectiveness, doing the right thing. In tactics, primary focus is on efficiency, doing it right with less resources, time, and money. Strategy is difficult to measure and evaluate. Tactics are easy to evaluate through well-defined metrics. Now that you understand strategy and tactics better, where strategy is a map to your goals, while tactics are the specific paths in those maps, let's understand the 4 basic principles of an effective strategy. Number 1, keep it simple. Simplicity implies being clear and precise in what you want to achieve, something that can be easily remembered and applied as a guiding principle every step of the way. It must also be realistic and actionable within the context of the organization and must take resources and other factors into account. Develop simple strategies with less assumptions that can be easily validated. Number 2, utilize the most promising opportunity. Utilizing the right opportunity at the right time requires a solid understanding of the nuances of your business, establishing a competitive view with another firm or industry, and focused energy to make the right move while taking obstacles into account. To do this, apply first principles thinking. By reasoning from first principles, you can break down the goal into its fundamental building blocks. Ask powerful questions, separate facts from assumptions, get down to the basic truth, and then construct a view from the ground up. It's an excellent thinking practice to create a new strategy by looking into the future and its needs. Number 3, validate with multiple mental models. While it may be tempting to go for a strategy that has immediate short-term positive benefits, it's much more beneficial to analyze its potential impact into the future and instead go for strategies that have long-term gains even at the cost of short-term pain. Second-order thinking is a great mental model to get outside our comfort zone and make decisions with positive outcomes compounded into the future. Another highly relevant thinking practice is to seek the opposite of what we desire by applying an inversion mental model. This form of reverse questioning can help us inquire about our own assumptions, beliefs, and in turn gain a better perspective to find answers to our original question with greater clarity and understanding. For example, instead of thinking about how this strategy can be successful, dig deeper and find answers into how it can fail. By recognizing failure patterns, you'll be in a much better position to devise a strategy that has the potential to generate the desired impact. Number four, assign an owner. Putting strategy to action may feel like a large investment of resources in the short term, but once deployed, it should lead to building strength within the organization. The power of a good strategy comes from the belief in its goodness, collaborative mindset to execute it, and taking responsibility to own its outcomes. Without accountability, a strategy is just a dream that never gets materialized. With the rightful owner to rally the cause, this dream can become a reality. As Peter Drucker, management guru, said, no decision has been made unless carrying it out in specific steps has become someone's work assignment and responsibility. Until then, there are only good intentions. To develop leadership qualities, shift from executing strategy defined by others to creating your own strategies and change gears from acting tactically to thinking strategically. To do this, follow the three-step process to shift gears from tactical planning to strategic thinking. Number one, start within your circle of competence. The best place to start is to look within your own circle of competence, areas where you have the most familiarity and experience. Generate new insights by looking for top issues hidden below the surface. By going beyond the tip of the iceberg to what lies beneath, you'll be able to uncover critical areas that will add value to your business and product. Make trade-offs for maximizing business potential and articulate a clear strategy by following the four principles of a good strategy outlined earlier. By starting off on the right note, you'll gain confidence to think beyond and enable trust with the people you work with. Number two, invest in learning about your business and industry. Thinking about the future requires an active dose of curiosity and knowledge. It requires self-awareness and acceptance of what you don't know to enable yourself to learn it with openness and spirit of inquiry. Spend time with other functions within your organization to understand how they operate, what their challenges are, and how they make decisions. It will grow your circle of competence and enable you to think better by applying mental models from different functions. Make self-directed learning a part of your day by listening to podcasts, reading books, blogs, or any other medium that helps you gain better knowledge about your industry. By investing in self-directed learning, you can take charge of developing your own thinking process. Number three, find people and groups to learn from. The best way to grow in your role is to find a mentor within or outside the organization who can help you think better by evaluating your thinking model, expose you to different lines of thinking, and enable you to get outside your comfort zone. Another effective way is to gain your manager's trust and be a listening party to strategic thinking groups within your organization. Hearing conflicts of opinions and diverging views from people in the organization will expand your natural thinking process and enable you to look beyond your beliefs and assumptions. To understand strategy and tactics better, consider these examples and how they work together. Example 1. Goal is to increase employee engagement. What strategy should you use? Unlike the popular belief that employees can be engaged by offering better incentive programs, multiple studies show that employee engagement comes from empowerment. So an effective strategy could be to enable more empowerment at work. What are some of the tactics that support this strategy? Number 1, allocate 20% of time for innovation by letting employees do any work of their choice during this time. Number 2, enable team members to take more responsibility through effective delegation. Number 3, coach managers and leaders to enable their people to make independent decisions. Number 4, help employees grow by choosing their own mentor and invest in building a mentor-mentee relationship. Example 2, goal is to hire right talent. What strategy should you use? To hire the right talent, it's very important to focus on the process. A good strategy could be to develop a consistent and repeatable interview process that can scale with the company's growth. What are some of the tactics that support this strategy? To develop an interview process that can be repeated consistently, the following tactics can be employed. Number one, establish evaluation criteria by creating an interview template. Number two, establish ground principles and share it with the hiring team to align on interview guidelines. Number three, grow the interview panel by making the process more inclusive. Number four, take unbiased decisions by involving the hiring committee.